Hi, today's practice for Yoga for Trauma is intended to help us release tension in our hips. Please go at your own pace. You'll want to have with you a blanket and 2 blocks, and let's get started. Okay, so for today's practice, we're going to begin in child's pose. I'd like you to have a blanket nearby and 2 blocks if possible. And you'll place the blocks underneath you at the lowest setting and then the blanket right on top of the blocks. You'll widen your knees so that you can draw this little mini bolster that you're creating with the blankets and the blocks towards you, dropping your head onto the block and the blanket. Breathe into your lower back and let your whole body receive your breath. Feel your breath, feel the blanket. Honoring this moment where you are as safe and present as possible. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And when you finish that final exhale on the 3rd breath, we'll lift ourselves up and come to seated. You can have the blocks nearby. We'll come to seated. I'm going to recommend you sit on a blanket because it takes the rounding out of your back. So as you're seated, you'll have crisscross applesauce, and you can actually have your left foot away from you, your right leg in closer to you. And if it feels okay for you to do so, lift both arms up to the ceiling, reaching tall, reclaiming the space above your head, reclaiming your shoulders. You might feel that they're working hard here. That's okay. Take a big breath in. Let them know that this is a safe moment for you, and you're going to walk your hands forward and down as feels appropriate and good for you. As you move closer to the earth here, you'll notice that there's a stretch happening in the left external rotator. The left hip is going to stretch a little bit into the piriformis as well. So you can drop your head if that feels okay. If dropping your head doesn't feel great, like it feels like a strain in your neck, take a yoga block and place that underneath your forehead so that your mouth and your nose can be free and your head is supported. Walking your hands further away from you or lowering the block towards the floor is going to intensify this stretch. The beauty is you get to go as far as feels appropriate for you. So always checking in with your body and your mind about what feels right. Letting there be an overall relaxation through your face and jaw and tongue as you stretch open through the outer hip. Part of reclaiming our bodies is recognizing exactly how they're feeling and then rerouting if necessary, or staying with if that feels appropriate. 5 more breaths here. I know this is a little longer hold than what you might do on your own, but this is part of how we release the muscles. We let the ligaments reclaim themselves. And we get breath in here. So 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. And you can feel how there's like a child's pose in your lower back. There's that rounding. This is okay. We're on a blanket. 1 more breath. And exhale and slowly walk your hands towards you. Come up to seated. Take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to walk your hands over to the right side of the room. So past your left foot, you can have your left arm reach more, and then your right hand stays next to you. You'll notice that here there's a rounding. Again, it's like child's pose, But we can work with a lengthened spine here and get so much out of it as well. So play with what feels better for you. Does it feel better to round the upper back? Does it feel better to lengthen the spine? And in each case, you're drawing your chin in towards your chest so that you're not sticking the neck out, but we're actually pulling back as if we were gently being drawn back by the back of our head. Continue to relax the jaw and your eyes as feels appropriate. So you keep checking in. This is part of yoga in general, but certainly part of this particular type of practice where we're offering healing practice. The healing is about really clearing lines of communication from our higher self to ourself in these bodies. One more breath here. And then slowly walking back through center and just coming to sit upright. So allowing your body that chance to just metabolize the poses, the stretch, coming back through center, full breath in. And exhale the breath out. Good, and now we're simply going to switch legs. So bring your left foot in a little closer than the right. Right foot's out. Again, where arms are reaching up. And notice when your arms reach up, you can breathe a little bit more underneath your upper lungs. Breathing, lengthening, lifting. Pinky fingers to the ceiling. One more breath. And then slowly we come down. So pulling in a little bit through the navel can help support the lower back. You might notice on the right side it's different than the left. Feeling into your body. Allowing this moment to unfold to your highest good right here. And again, you're noticing that nice child's pose in your low back. Rounding forward. Be very soothing. So offering this to yourself as a gift. So important. Five more breaths here. You can flex your toes if that feels good, or you can keep your feet relaxed. Notice where the breath is, and letting it go. And then we'll come up to seated and walk our hands all the way over to the left now. Again, left hand can be next to your leg. It's like a little training wheel. Right arm reaches, head drops. These are all ways to help us get back into our bodies. Ways to stay connected to the reverence and the respect for our bodies, for being a human being. And let whatever come up, come up. It can be a feeling of peace. It could be a feeling of rage. It could be sadness, grief, elation, whatever it is. Allowing yourself that space to just feel, to be, to honor you. Take one more breath here, and then coming back through center, up through seated, and breathe. Inhale, and exhale. Nice. And then we'll close up our knees. Feels good for you, and then you can use that blanket underneath your left knee. And I recommend taking blocks underneath your hands. And we'll have our right foot forward. So for here, we're getting into the internal hip flexor on the left side. So hands are down on the blocks and the chest is elevating. So there could be a rounding in this pose, but I'd rather you not. I'd rather you feel that openness so you can breathe more deeply. You can reclaim the space that's internal, that's within you, that gorgeousness that really resides, that beautiful spark within, that eternal, immutable energy that is yours, that's your life force. So allowing it to be present here as you draw the pelvis forward, your pelvis, moving it forward, opening up through your shoulders. Tailbone drops heavily. And we'll breathe here 5 more breaths. Nice. And then hands are on the blocks, nice and firm. Roll over your back toes. So now you're in a lunge with the left foot off, left knee off of the floor. Reach forward with your chest. 1 more breath. And then as you exhale, you can plant the blocks at the lowest setting. Kick your right foot back into a downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Heels are slightly out and you're spinning your triceps towards the back of your mat. And then step your left foot forward, dropping the right knee to the floor. Replace your blocks to the taller setting. And you'll feel why. When you have them up high, it gives you that opportunity to open the chest. So sometimes when we're going through difficult times, our shoulders will round. This is just the way our body's trying to protect us. But what we're recognizing is that by opening through our shoulders, if that feels good for you, then you can breathe more deeply. It begins to elevate mood and it begins to lift your spirit. So keeping that energy active as you draw the hips, your hips forward, feeling into your hips. Noticing what does it feel like in there today? Is there a little ease? Is there some constriction? Just honor, be with what is. Part of the practice is really honoring what is present. So we don't fight with it. We're just being with ourselves in this moment. 5 more breaths. Letting the hips descend and open so your hips can reclaim their space, their safety, their tremendous power. Last big breath. Inhale. Nicely done. Exhale, roll over your back toes. The right knee is off of the floor. Put the blocks at the lowest setting here. And then kick your foot back into a downward facing dog. Full breath in. Long breath out. You can remove the blocks. Just scooch them off the mat if you would. And the blanket. Downward dog, and then walk your feet closer to each other, a little closer to your hands, and float the right leg straight back and bend the right knee, opening up through the side body here. Take a full breath in, and then exhale. We'll close it back up, place the right foot on the floor, bend the left knee, but keep both feet on the floor. Draw the right heel, your right heel towards the floor. So you're stretching the back of your right leg. And then float that left leg back and up, bend the left knee, and open through your hips in this 3-legged dog. Head drops, your head drops, letting it go. Lift a little more, reclaiming your space, your grace, and then both feet are down. And here you'll bend into the right knee, both feet stay on the floor. Left leg is long. Opening through the back of the left leg. Full breath here. And exhale, nice. Step the right foot forward, coming into a crescent lunge. So you're on the ball of the back foot. Lift both arms up to the ceiling. Breath in. Get as tall as you can. Breath out. Open through the chest. Lift up. Inhale. Breath away. One more. Full breath here. And exhale. Hands come to your heart. Walk your back foot up so you've got about 3 to 4 feet in between your feet. And then the blocks are at the tallest setting. So you can widen your stance so your feet are about hip width or even wider. Keep your spine long here. So again, there could be a rounding, but we want to keep length, the elegance and dignity of our own spinal column. You can keep that length. You can engage through the core. You can draw back through the top of the right hip and then bend your elbows and drawbridge your forehead towards your shin. You don't have to go that far. It might feel just great staying here with your spine completely parallel to the floor. Or if you want more, that's when the elbows bend towards you. In any case, the very top of your right thigh, you're drawing that back as you keep your right ball of foot into the floor. That's so that the back of the hamstring and the calf muscles, that they can release for you and let go. We'll take 3 more breaths here. Last big breath. Inhale. And exhale. Nicely done. We're going to move the blocks away and step ourselves right back to a downward facing dog. Feeling the length of your spine, feeling your breath and the back of your legs. Inhale and exhale. When you're ready, your left foot will step forward into Crescent Lunge on this side. Again, you want a wide enough base to give you that space that you can lift your arms up overhead. It might feel a little wobbly, and in that case, you're going to widen the base even more so that you take up space. You own the mat. You own this moment with your intention, with your own energy, your own spark. Stay with it. 3 more breaths. Tailbone's heavy. Last big breath. Inhale. Nicely done. We'll close it up. Walk your back foot forward a little bit, 3 to 4 feet in between your feet. Hands are on blocks, tallest setting. So pyramid pose. You're lengthening your chest forward, but you're going to draw back to the top of the left hip. Keep plugging in through your left ball of foot. Stay there, or if you want more sensation, you'll bend your elbows towards you, just like we did on the other side. So every pose becomes your art. Every pose, you're the artist. You get to decide how to make it work for you. Can you bring a little more breath into this equation here and see what that feels like for you? Breath is so amazing. It's one of those things that if we breathe as if we're relaxed, our body says we're relaxed. So we're going to encourage that for our overall health and well-being, both physical and mental well-being. 1 more breath here. Nice. And then coming up through center. Take your blocks with you. You're going to face the long part of your mat. Toes are going to face the short part of your mat. Your torso is going to face the long part. And then you'll place the blocks out in front of you so that your wrists are underneath your shoulders. Widen your stance till it feels good for you, and then bend into your right knee. What we're doing here is we're getting into your inner adductors. We're releasing the inner part of our upper thigh so that we can have more mobility, more freedom, more space. Remembering when we release our hips, our jaw will sometimes try to clench. So keep that in mind. Keep an eye on your jaw and see if you can encourage it to release in case it's decided to try to protect you by clenching. We're going to let it go. Here you're safe. One more breath. And then we swap. Let's go to the other side. And just getting into the feeling, the sensation of what your body feels like as you healthfully and mindfully stretch and release. Tailbone lifts a little bit. Chest lengthens a little bit. Stay with you. 2 more breaths here. Nicely done. We'll come up through center. Bend into your knees. Come on up to standing. Turn so your right foot faces the short part of your mat. Now we'll move into a warrior 2. So your back foot is angled so the heel is moving towards the edge of the back of your mat. And then your arms are out. You can look over your right hand. That's your classic alignment. But if that doesn't feel right for your neck and you want to look forward the way your belly button is facing, that is completely fine. Reaching with your fingertips. 3 more breaths here. Last big breath. Inhale. And exhale. Reverse the warrior. Spin your right palm to the ceiling. Reach up and back. Good. And then straighten out both legs. Here we're going to turn our toes in towards each other. Heels are slightly out. Interlace your hands behind you. Lift your chest upwards towards the sky. And then bend your knees as you transition forward into your Prasarita Padottanasana. So if anything we're doing doesn't feel right for your body today, don't do it. Skip it. Go into child's pose or any other pose that feels appropriate for you. This pose is nice because it's an anti-anxiety. It also helps release tension in the back of our legs, and with our arms interlaced, our hands interlaced in variation C, we're also opening the shoulders and the collarbones. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Nice, and then bend into your knees. Come on up to standing. You can step the left foot forward, coming into warrior 2. Left foot is forward, arms reach out. Tailbone drops. Breath is even, in and out through your nose if possible. There's science in all of this. Message me if you want to know more about why in and out through your nose, but it's really important. If you can, that's our best bet. 2 more breaths here. And then reverse your warrior. Palm spins up to the ceiling and back. And now you can go straight to a downward dog, or if you'd like a little more movement, you'll come to a high plank. You can have your knees off the floor or on the floor. A low plank, elbows are in. Upward facing dog, breath. And downward facing dog, breath out. Lengthen spine back. Inhale. And exhale. One more here. Inhale. And exhale. Really nicely done. Let's place our knees on the floor. You can take a blanket or a pillow for underneath the back of your head. And then blocks can go underneath the back of your hamstrings. You can have them closer to your knees. And once you get it set up, dropping yourself into your pose. So see if this feels okay for you. You can place your hands on your abdomen. You can also take a blanket or another block and place it on your abdomen. That helps the vagus nerve release. And let your legs receive the earth, as if your body is saying hello, hello to the earth. Relax through your head, your shoulders, your spinal column. This is your body touching down on your mat, rejuvenating, letting go, and being peace right here. And take a big breath in. And releasing it out. You can rest longer if you like, or bend your knees, tip over to one side. Come on up to seated. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing. I'll see you next time. Hey, if you enjoyed today's practice, please subscribe to my YouTube channel below, Dawn Davis Yoga. Thanks so much for being here.